Mr. King, how do you respond to concerns that New Mexicans have reduced confidence in the integrity of state government in light of the current environment of pay to play, and what resources are you committing to address these concerns?
I think that there have been significant issues of confidence with people in our state government, and that's one of the things that I've worked diligently on, and it's been an issue in our campaign. But let me tell you what I've done, because my opponent will tell you what I've done, but it's better to get it from the person who's actually done it than from the person who's running against them. I think that the very first of the scandals that was an issue was the scandal with the state treasurer's office. And there were a lot of issues with dealing with that. And so one of the things I promised when I came into office is that we would work hard and that we would develop the expertise to deal with these cases. I asked the legislature to give me the money that was required to create what we call the Government Accountability Division. So I have a division that does that. I have a 20-year prosecutor who leads that division, Ann Badway. Some of you all know Ann Badway. I have 3 lawyers in that division now, 6 investigators who spend all of their time and their expertise working on those cases. And those have led to cases like the indictment of Jerome Block Jr. and Jerome Block Sr., the indictment of Secretary of State Rebecca V. Hill-Heron, the indictment of Smiley Gallegos and the Region 3 Housing Authority. Those are all big cases. They all continue to move on. And one of the things that I have found in those cases is that there's not very much appellate law in that, because previous attorneys general have not pressed these cases on to their conclusion. They're complex cases. They involve hundreds of thousands of pages of documents, and I think you have to be very careful and deliberate to make sure that those cases are done well. And I have been accused on occasion of not going fast enough on those cases, but all of you lawyers know that it's not necessarily up to the attorney how fast those cases go. We have judges who are ruling on motions and such. 2 of those cases are now in the Court of Appeals, and once again it's because they're cases of first impression. Previous attorneys general have not brought these cases. We have the resources to move forward on this, and I think that sends a message to folks in the public that it doesn't make any difference if it's hard. If you've got a great defense attorney, we are going to do what we need to do to carry those cases to completion.
Mr. Chandler, I'll ask you a similar question. What resources should be committed from the Attorney General's office in combating corruption, and what actions do you feel should have been taken in the last administration that were not to combat corruption?
Well, the late coach John Wooden once said that let's not mistake activity for achievement, and I think that that's necessary to bring up in this particular case. In an era of corruption where the special agent in charge of the FBI in New Mexico said that we have one of the most corrupt states in the nation, we ought to have an attorney general with 4 years of experience in that office to be able to stand up and talk to you about convictions. We all know that we have indictments, and we all know in this particular room that you can indict a ham sandwich. What we need to make sure is that we have proven results. The accountability division is fantastic, but creating more government is not what New Mexicans are looking for. They're looking for accountability. I have the experience of holding people accountable and doing so in a timely fashion. The indictments that he mentions, whether it's the Region 3 case or whether it's V. Hill-Heron's case, they continue to be continued. And New Mexicans aren't seeing the results. I've prosecuted complex cases, even death penalty cases, that don't take this long. I think the New Mexicans are dying for results. We need to make sure that the consequences of corruption outweigh the benefits of corruption, and then corruption will stop, which will allow New Mexicans to move New Mexico forward in the areas where it matters most, and that's the jobs, and the economy, and the education, and the health care. But until we still have this death grip of corruption on our state, we are not going to be able to progress. And so you're right, it does take someone with experience, someone that is able to handle these particular cases, and someone that can provide the leadership in this office to make sure that these cases are not only indicted, but we see results and we see convictions, and then we ask the honorable judges that have the opportunity to sentence accordingly. But it takes someone that has the experience in moving cases forward. Thank you.